Last week, a new movie called Pressure came out, dramatizing the behind-the-scenes weather decisions leading up to D-Day, the Allied invasion to retake Europe on June 6, 1944. With the D-Day anniversary on Saturday, it's an appropriate time to take a close look at how the weather forecast factored into one of the most important military operations in history. Now, by early 1944, Allied commanders had decided on June for the invasion. The full moon was on the 6th. It would yield the best illumination for pilots, so Eisenhower had tentatively chosen June 5th if the weather cooperated. The operation needed low tide around dawn to expose underwater German mines near the beaches. Bomber and fighter aircraft required a certain minimum ceiling. The Army wanted firm, dry ground. The Navy needed good visibility, and of course, limited waves in the English Channel. 3 forecast teams, 2 British and 1 American, overseen by Captain James Stagg of the British Royal Air Force, worked independently and then reached a consensus that Stagg presented to Eisenhower. Now, in 1944, there was no satellite imagery, no weather radar, no computer models. Even a 2-day forecast was a huge challenge. Though the Allies controlled the Atlantic, the Germans likely had decoded some Allied weather messages, so they too had at least a sense for any incoming weather systems. Now, the weather in early June 1944 in the UK was controlled by an upper air low in the North Atlantic with high pressure west of Spain. The fast westerly flow in between sent a parade of storms through the British Isles. Here's a reconstruction of the weather map early on June 4th. This is when Eisenhower had to decide whether to stick to June 5th for the invasion. Stagg told him that another round of wind and rain would likely sweep over the channel on the 5th, but a short break would likely follow on the 6th. And on that advice, Eisenhower delayed the invasion by 24 hours. As it turned out, the weather on June 5th was poor. The invasion would have been next to impossible. The weather on the 6th was marginal but tolerable. Seas were choppy and skies gray at dawn to greet the largest amphibious landing force ever assembled at that time. But the sun came out a bit in the afternoon and nature cooperated enough so that the Germans, who expected an invasion only during a stretch of fair weather, were surprised. Their high command had relaxed. Their aircraft and naval vessels were not fully ready. Asked years later by John Kennedy why the Normandy invasion had been so successful, Eisenhower reportedly said, "Because we had better meteorologists than the Germans." Almost exactly 11 years after D-Day on June 11th, 1955, Eisenhower, by then President of the United States, gave the commencement address at Penn State. Recognizing the importance of a good forecast and knowing that rain was a possibility for the ceremony, Eisenhower had consulted with Penn State meteorology legend Dr. Charles Hosler, who gave the go-ahead to have commencement outdoors. That forecast worked out too. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment with more.